Welcome back to the Less Face, More Space podcast. The podcast for creators, building digital wealth with smart strategy and hopefully zero burnout.
That's the goal, isn't it?
It really is. So today we're diving into a book that's, well, it's shaped thousands of entrepreneurs, fundamentally shifted how many of us think about money, really. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Ah, yeah, the classic.
Exactly. Now, I know for some of you, hearing that title might bring like a little groan. You might think, oh, that old thing, it's basic, or maybe it's overhyped.
And, maybe some of those surface-level critiques have a point, especially if you've just skimmed it or heard summaries.
Well, right. But we're actually challenging that perception today because its core lessons, we think they're profoundly, enduringly relevant, especially for you, the modern online entrepreneur, the digital creator, the person building a faceless brand in this new economy.
Absolutely. We're not just talking theory here. We want to talk about how this classic can actually help you grow your digital brand, your income, like right now, today.
Yeah, I can definitely speak from personal experience here. My understanding of business, it used to be so narrow, so traditional.
Like bricks and mortar.
Totally. Brick and mortar, rent, inventory, employees, overhead, just this mountain of traditional problems. I was really geared for that typical path, chasing a paycheck, just like Kiyosaki's Poor Dad sort of encouraged.
Yeah, the safe route.
The safe route. And I remember thinking, how am I ever going to build real wealth without like a massive loan or saving for years for a physical shop? It just felt impossible.
Right. Out of reach for most people starting out.
Completely. But then something just clicked. A really transformative realization hit me. True wealth isn't primarily built by trading your time for money or even owning physical stores. It's built by accumulating assets.
That's the core concept.
It is. And what's truly revolutionary now in our current landscape, and what makes Rich Dad, Poor Dad maybe more relevant than ever, is that this definition of an asset, it now squarely includes digital products, automated systems, a scalable online presence that doesn't even need you to be the face of the brand.
Precisely. And that's really our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To sort of dissect Kiyosaki's timeless wisdom and show you how it applies directly, right, to the tools, the opportunities, the challenges you face as a digital entrepreneur today.
Yeah, moving beyond just theory, beyond just a motivational read.
Exactly. Into practical, actionable application for your online business. We really want to bridge that gap between Kiyosaki's foundational principles and, the dynamic, fast-moving world of a digital entrepreneurship. Make his concepts tangible for your faceless brand.
Well, it's about understanding those core truths.
And then seeing them come alive with the cutting-edge strategies available to you right now.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We absolutely have to start with Kiyosaki's foundational quote. The one that, honestly, it anchors his entire philosophy, and it completely changed my perspective.
Which one is that?
The rich buy assets.
Yeah.
The poor only have expenses.
Ah, yes. That's the big one.
It is, and it's not just like a catchy phrase or a simple dichotomy. It's a really profound statement about financial behavior, strategic decision-making. And it applies directly, powerfully to the digital realm.
Absolutely.
But okay, for our audience, the digital creators, the faceless brand builders, what does an asset truly mean today in the creator economy, especially when we're talking online income and scaling without having to show up daily on camera?
That's the critical question, right? Because the traditional definition, it often brings up images of, real estate, stocks, physical businesses, things that feel very tangible.
Right. Solid things you can touch.
Exactly. But in the digital age, the definition of an asset just explodes. It expands exponentially. An asset in this context is basically anything that generates income for you without needing your continuous active labor.
Okay. Say that again. Without continuous active labor.
Right. Something you build, maybe you optimize it, and then it continues to pay you over and over again, often at like near zero marginal cost for each extra sale or interaction.
Wow, near zero marginal cost. That's huge.
It is. And this is really the cornerstone of leveraged income. It allows your effort, your initial work, to be multiplied way beyond that first investment of time or energy.
Okay, so if we're getting granular,
And we're talking things like digital products, right? That
Yeah.
seemed like the most obvious one. But let's dive into the nuances. What makes them true assets?
Absolutely. Digital products are, probably the clearest, most direct example. And there's such a variety, right? Think about digital courses. You package up your unique expertise, your knowledge, into a structured learning experience.
Like teaching what you know. Exactly. And you can sell it countless times. You put in the upfront time, the intellectual capital to create the modules, the videos, the workups, whatever.
Hmm.
But once it's done, it's infinitely reproducible.
Okay. So courses. What else?
Well, then there are guides and templates. These are huge right now. Could be for social media content, business planning, design stuff, even like specialized software workflows,
Hmm.
ebooks, checklists, printable planners, premium content libraries. They all kind of fall under this umbrella.
Right. Things people can download and use immediately.
Precisely. And the real beauty here, the asset part, is that you invest your time and effort once to create the thing, and then it becomes infinitely reproducible. Each sale after that, whether it's your 10th or your 10,000th, generates almost pure profit after maybe some platform fees.
And crucially, it doesn't need you to show up live or perform a service each time or restock anything.
Not at all. It's a true set it and kind of forget it income stream. Once the product is well made and you have a way to market it effectively, the key is that the value gets delivered automatically without you needing to intervene for every single customer.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, but what about something like affiliate marketing? Because often people think of that as just, pushing products, like a very active manual thing. How can that become an asset?
That's a fantastic point because, yeah, many people do approach affiliate marketing in a really transactional, labor-intensive way, always looking for the next product to promote this week.
Right, like constant selling.
Yeah. But if you approach it strategically, affiliate marketing can absolutely become a powerful asset. The shift happens when you build systems around your affiliate efforts.
Systems. What do you mean by systems?
Imagine creating evergreen content that stays relevant for a long time, like a really comprehensive blog post reviewing a specific software tool you use and love, or a detailed comparison video on YouTube, maybe a curated resource library on your website, or even an automated email sequence.
Okay, so content that lasts.
Exactly. Content that naturally integrates and promotes other people's products or services within it. You do the upfront work, the research, the writing, maybe the video production, setting up the email sequence.
A lot of work initially, maybe.
Potentially, yes. But once that content or system is live, it continues to attract potential buyers, maybe nurtures their interest, and funnels them towards those products using your unique affiliate link. That piece of content or that automated sequence then generates commissions long after you created it.
Without you constantly doing sales pitches.
Exactly. It's not about making individual pitches constantly. It's about building a digital footprint, a resource that continuously leads people to valuable products where you happen to earn a commission. It becomes like a digital salesperson working for you 24/7.
Okay, that reframes affiliate marketing completely. Now, that brings us to something that's, well, relatively new, but incredibly powerful. And it really defines the cutting edge for a lot of faceless brands right now, AI tools and systems. How do those fit into the asset category? Because, like, a tool itself isn't an asset, right? It's what you do with it.
Exactly right. The tool isn't the asset. The leverage it provides is. AI, when you use it correctly, isn't just some fancy new gadget. It becomes a significant asset because it enables the creation and, crucially, the scaling of other assets.
Okay, so how does that work? Beyond just, say, writing a blog post draft.
Well, think beyond simple content generation. AI can automate really complex processes, like generating nuanced variations of ad copy, maybe optimized for specific audiences you couldn't target manually, or drafting entire email sequences for different stages of your sales funnel. It could even create detailed outlines and first drafts for new digital products, like ebooks or mini courses, freeing you up for the higher level strategy.
So it's like an assistant, but supercharged.
Kind of. And beyond creation, AI can analyze huge amounts of data, predict market trends, maybe identify new product opportunities, or personalize user journeys way beyond simple segmentation. This makes your marketing much more efficient and effective. It could even handle initial customer support chats, freeing up your time.
Wow. Okay.
So these AI-driven processes, they free up your time, they reduce the manual grunt work, and they directly contribute to income generation by doing work that would otherwise take countless hours. They become like your silent, tireless workforce, optimizing and producing value around the clock, letting you focus on the big picture.
That's fascinating. And then there's the broader category, just automations. We hear that term constantly. But what specifically are we talking about here that can truly become an asset that works for you?
Yeah, automation gets thrown around a lot, but fundamentally, automations are the very lifeblood of making money while you sleep in the digital space. They're the invisible gears turning behind your faceless brand.
Okay, like what kind of gears?
This includes things like Email sequences. Not just a single welcome email, but sequences that nurture leads over days or weeks, offering value, building trust, and then strategically introducing products to convert them into customers automatically.
So nurturing on autopilot?
Exactly. Think about sophisticated sales funnels, too. Guiding visitors from that first point of awareness through consideration, right, to purchase all without your direct intervention at each step, often incorporating upsells or downsells automatically based on their actions.
Right, guiding them through the process.
And even simpler things like content scheduling systems, making sure your social media posts, blog updates, maybe even podcast episodes go out consistently, even when you're offline or on vacation, or focusing on creating your next big product. These automations are like digital employees working 24/7.
So they ensure that once someone enters your world,
Your ecosystem,
yeah,
maybe by downloading a free guide, sign up for your newsletter, clicking an ad, they are systematically moved through your sales process, leading to income generation without you manually pushing every single interaction.
they're like the scaffolding, holding everything up.
That's a great way to put it. They support your digital products, your affiliate efforts, making them truly passive or at least leveraged income streams. They let you scale your reach and impact exponentially without scaling your personal effort in the same way.
Okay, so if those are the assets, the digital products, the automated affiliate systems, the AI leverage, the automations, what about the flip side? What are the digital liabilities that creators and online entrepreneurs often take on, maybe without even realizing it? The things that just drain time or money or energy without giving back proportionally, the silent profit killers.
Great question, because this is where so many people get tripped up. They fall into that trap of being perpetually busy, working really hard, but not actually building wealth. And the most common liabilities, they often hide in plain sight, sometimes masquerading as necessities.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, number one, unused subscriptions. How many software tools, stock photo memberships, AI credits you pay for monthly, productivity apps? How many do you subscribe to each month that you barely touch, or that just replicate functionality you already have covered somewhere else?
Oh, I feel personally attacked right now.
Haha, well, most of us have been there. Each one is a recurring expense, a silent bleed on your balance sheet. It's draining your capital without providing an equivalent income-generating return. It's exactly like having multiple gym memberships you never use. They're liabilities, pure and simple, not assets.
Yeah, we get lured by the promise of the shiny new tool, don't we? Thinking this will be the silver bullet.
Totally. But if it doesn't directly contribute to the creation or the scaling of an actual asset, it's probably just a drag on your resources.
Yeah.
Easy to accumulate them without a real strategy.
Okay, unused subscriptions. What else?
And then there's the big one, especially for creators, the content hamster wheel.
Ah, yes, the hamster wheel.
This is huge, particularly for those building faceless brands, because that allure of more content equals more visibility is just so strong. It's the relentless creation of vast amounts of content, daily posts across 5 platforms, long-form videos, endless Twitter threads, chasing every single trending audio.
Exhausting, just thinking about it.
It is exhausting, and it consumes significant time and energy, but often lacks a clear, direct strategy for converting into actual revenue. You're constantly busy, working incredibly hard, but are you actually building something that generates income independently of that daily grind?
So if the content isn't leading anywhere,
Right. If your content isn't strategically funneling people towards a product you sell or an affiliate offer or maybe a service that pays you, it's often just a time-draining liability. You end up working for your content instead of your content working for you.
that's effort with no equity.
Exactly. Effort with no equity. It can even become a psychological liability, honestly, leading to burnout, creative fatigue, feeling like you're just shouting into the void.
That's such a crucial distinction, and frankly, a really tough pill to swallow for many creators. It's so easy to get caught up in the vanity metrics, right? The likes, the views. You feel like you're doing something productive.
When in reality, you might just be treading water, financially speaking.
So how do we guide people? How do you transition from just being busy on that content hamster wheel to strategically building actual revenue-generating assets? Assets that compound your efforts over time.
Okay, the crucial shift, the mindset change, comes from understanding this. Posting every day isn't the asset. The system or the product behind that post, that's the asset.
Okay, unpack that a bit more. The system or product behind the post.
Think of your social media posts, your content, primarily as the advertisements. They're the top of your funnel. They grab attention. They build initial awareness. Great. But what happens after someone sees your post? What's the next step?
Right, where does it lead?
Does it lead them to click a link to a high-value digital product you offer? Do they enter an automated email sequence that nurtures them towards a conversion? Do they discover an evergreen piece of content, like that blog review we talked about, with a strategically embedded affiliate link? If the answer is just, well, they see another post tomorrow,
Then you're probably on the hamster wheel.
you're almost certainly on the hamster wheel. The goal isn't just reach, it's reach that converts into an asset interaction, or ultimately a sale. You need a clear pathway, a deliberate journey from content consumption to value exchange.
That's powerful. It really forces you to reflect, doesn't it? Are you just creating content, or are you intentionally building an asset behind that content? It's all about intentionality.
Exactly. Every piece of content needs a job to do. Beyond just getting likes or shares, it should lead somewhere. Lead to an asset, nurture lead, directly facilitate a sale. It's about building a machine, a system that can operate with or without your constant manual input every single day.
So instead of just posting, say, a daily motivational quote,
Right? Instead of that, maybe create a short, valuable guide that's your digital asset that solves a common problem your audience has. Then promote that guide in your posts. Use an automated email sequence to deliver it, and then nurture that lead towards a related paid product. That's how content becomes part of an actual asset-building strategy.
that's the difference between being perpetually busy.
And truly building financial freedom and leveraged income. It's a game changer.
Okay, this flows perfectly into our next principle, another core idea from Kiyosaki. The poor and the middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. Now, in the digital world, this isn't just some abstract concept. It feels incredibly tangible, maybe more so now than ever with AI and automation.
It really is. Digital entrepreneurship, especially with these new tools, inherently enables leveraged income in a way that traditional businesses often struggle with, particularly when trying to scale. Your effort gets multiplied through systems.
Unlike a traditional job where your income is just tied directly to the hours you put in, time for money.
Exactly that trap. Digital assets allow you to fundamentally detach your income from your time. You build a system once, maybe you refine it over time, but it can generate revenue repeatedly, 204/7, across different time zones, without your direct physical presence or constant minute-by-minute attention.
That's the dream, isn't it?
It is the essence of having your money, or perhaps more accurately, your digital creations, your intellectual property, work for you. It's about designing a business that generates revenue more independently, freeing up your time for strategy, creativity, or just, living life.
Okay, let's get into some really concrete examples for online income here, because this is where the rubber meets the road for our listeners, especially those building faceless brands. How does this money working for you idea actually play out in their day-to-day online business?
Okay, a prime example, and probably one of the most powerful for online entrepreneurs, is selling one digital product to hundreds, maybe even thousands of people.
Right. The one-to-many model.
Exactly. Imagine you spend, say, a focused month creating a really comprehensive digital course on, I don't know, faceless brand video creation and automation, or maybe a premium template pack for social media content. That's a significant upfront investment, sure.
Yeah.
Your time, your expertise, maybe a little bit of money for tools.
Okay, you build the thing?
You build the thing.
Right.
But once it's created, you can sell that same course or template pack to 100 people, 1,000 people, maybe 10,000 people, without needing to recreate it from scratch each time. Your effort doesn't increase linearly with each sale.
The initial work is done.
The heavy lifting is done.
Right.
And every subsequent sale is virtually pure profit scaled across your audience. Now compare that to a service-based business where you have to perform the service for each individual client, constantly trading your hours for dollars.
The difference in leverage, in scalability is just massive.
It's astronomical.
Okay.
You could literally be asleep and someone on the other side of the world could be buying your product, accessing it instantly. That's your creation working for you.
Okay, that's clear. What about strategic affiliate links? Again, because it's not just about like slapping a link in your Instagram bio, is it? That's not really making money work for you. That feels more like just a passive hope for a click.
No, not at all. And that's precisely the difference between an active, sort of low-leverage tactic and building a true asset. Strategic affiliate links mean embedding those links within valuable evergreen content. Content people will discover and find useful for months, maybe even years.
Like that detailed review or comparison we mentioned?
Exactly. A meticulously researched review of a software tool on your blog, a comprehensive comparison video on YouTube, a series of in-depth tutorials showing how to use a particular platform effectively, all of which naturally funnel people to purchase via your unique affiliate link.
So the content does the selling.
The content does the heavy lifting.
Mm.
That piece of content, once it's published and maybe optimized for search engines, continues to generate commissions long after you created it. You do the intensive work once the research, the writing, the video production, and it becomes a continuous source of income. A digital asset that needs very little ongoing maintenance but delivers consistent passive returns.
It's about building a valuable resource first.
Yes, a resource that naturally guides people to a solution. And that solution just happens to be something you earn a commission on. That's strategic. That's leverage.
And now they're really cutting-edge stuff. Something that feels like the absolute epitome of money working for you. These AI-led evergreen funnels. That almost sounds like science fiction, but you're saying it's becoming a reality.
It is, and it's genuinely transformative for those who implement it well. Imagine an automated sales funnel that doesn't just blindly push out pre-written emails you scheduled 6 months ago. Imagine one that actively learns and adapts based on user behavior and preferences, potentially optimized or even driven by AI in real time.
Okay, how would that work?
Well, AI could dynamically refine your ad targeting as data comes in. It could personalize email sequences with a level of precision we couldn't manually achieve based on exactly what someone clicked or watched. It would generate relevant responses in a support chatbot based on complex customer queries. It could even A/B test different headlines or calls to action automatically to constantly maximize conversion rates.
So the funnel gets smarter over time by itself.
Essentially, yes. It means the funnel is continuously attracting, nurturing, and converting customers without your constant manual intervention. You set it up, you monitor its performance, maybe you fine-tune it based on the AI-driven insights it gives you, but it works tirelessly in the background, making money for you.
That is the definition of having your money work for you.
It really is. Because the system itself is performing these complex sales and marketing functions, learning and optimizing as it goes, generating revenue, even when you are completely offline, focused elsewhere.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for our specific audience, the less faceless space listeners. How does this concept of leveraged income tie directly into the faceless brand model? Because, like you said, so many people still think you have to be highly visible, you have to show up 24/7, smile for the camera to build a successful online business.
This is truly the faceless brand's superpower. It's core competitive advantage in many ways. You don't need to be visible. You don't need to perform daily dances for the algorithm gods. You certainly don't need to show up constantly in the traditional sense because your content and your automated systems, those are the workforce of your brand.
So the assets are the face, in a way.
Exactly. Your meticulously crafted digital products, your evergreen content with those strategic affiliate links, your AI-driven funnels, these are the entities doing the selling. They're building the connection with your audience and they're driving the revenue. They are working even when you're asleep or on vacation or focused on your family or deep in creating your next big asset.
The content you produce, the systems you build, they become the public-facing identity and the revenue engine.
Precisely. Allowing you to earn income without being constantly present or performing. This fundamentally frees you from that time from money trap that so many entrepreneurs, even successful online ones, fall into. Your knowledge, packaged and automated, becomes your most valuable employee. It doesn't call in sick.
Haha, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just keeps working.
So, yeah, truly ask yourself, take a moment and think. What's in your business right now that keeps working even when you're offline? Can you actually identify those existing assets? Or can you see the specific areas where you could develop them? Are you relying mostly on your direct manual effort day-to-day, or are you consciously building leveraged systems?
That question alone is a powerful diagnostic tool, isn't it, for your current income streams and for figuring out where to focus your future efforts?
Absolutely. It guides your strategy.
Okay, that's a fantastic reflection point. It really gets you thinking about leverage versus just raw output, raw hustle. Now, let's pivot slightly to something Kiyosaki stresses a lot, which is maybe the hardest shift for many people to make, especially if you're thinking about leaving a traditional job or starting something totally new from scratch. And that's breaking the employee mentality and embracing self-taught financial education. He says, the single most powerful asset we all have is our mind.
This is absolutely foundational. It underpins everything else, really. It's where true long-term wealth building actually begins. Our mind, what we choose to feed it, how we train it to think, determines our financial trajectory far more than any external circumstance.
And most of us grew up in a traditional education system.
That was meticulously designed, really,
Yeah.
to train us for a job. how to earn a paycheck, how to be a good employee, how to follow instructions and climb someone else's ladder.
But it rarely, if ever, teaches us how to manage that money effectively, let alone multiply it.
Exactly. It doesn't teach how to think like an owner or how to create assets or build systems that generate income independently. It trains you, essentially, to be a well-functioning cog in someone else's machine, not the creator of the machine itself.
So when we talk about online learning, diving into YouTube tutorials, taking online courses, experimenting with new AI tools, actively building a digital business, it's not just a hobby or a side hustle, is it? It's genuinely the most practical, real-world financial education you can possibly get. It's like your new MBA, but practical.
Precisely. Think about what you learn. When you're learning to sell online, you're acquiring real skills in digital marketing, persuasive copywriting that actually converts, building sales funnels, understanding sales psychology, mastering platform mechanics. When you're leveraging AI, you're not just playing with a cool new toy. You're learning how to automate, optimize, scale complex business processes, gain insights you couldn't possibly get otherwise.
And when you create a digital course or product,
You're doing everything: market research, audience validation, content structuring, pricing strategy, launch tactics, customer support. The entire process, from just the initial idea to iterating based on feedback and launching it, that is a real-world, hands-on MBA in practical entrepreneurship. You are learning the skills of generating income and building assets by actually doing it.
it's almost like your content isn't just marketing anymore, it's also your curriculum.
Yeah.
You're actively teaching yourself how to make money in real time through trial and, let's be honest, plenty of error.
Oh, absolutely. Through building and iterating, you're getting an education that is immediately applicable to your goals.
And this self-taught curriculum, it's often way more practical, way more immediately applicable and directly profitable than anything you'd learn in a traditional classroom setting, where the focus is often so theoretical.
Right. You're learning by doing, solving real problems that directly impact your own bottom line. You're getting direct, unfiltered feedback from the actual market, not just a professor's grade. This builds a unique kind of financial literacy, one rooted in execution, resilience, problem solving, not just theory or memorization.
It teaches you to adapt and innovate too, which are crucial skills, assets themselves, in this constantly changing digital landscape.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, Kiyosaki also dives deep into the emotional barriers, that employee mentality that holds so many people back from pursuing real financial freedom. He notes specifically, emotions like fear and greed cause us to make irrational decisions. This feels incredibly relevant for anyone thinking about leaving a 9 to 5 or building something totally new from scratch.
Oh, it's a huge hurdle.
Yeah.
And it's often subconscious, which makes it tricky. That fear of the unknown, fear of leaving the perceived security, the predictability of a steady paycheck, it's incredibly powerful.
Even if that job isn't great.
Exactly. Even if that 9 to 5 is soul-crushing or underpaying or doesn't align with your values at all, the idea of stepping into uncertainty, of being solely responsible for generating your own income, it can paralyze potential entrepreneurs. People cling to the familiar, even if it's not serving their long-term goals or their true potential.
And that fear shows up how? Like procrastination.
Yeah, procrastination, analysis paralysis, endlessly researching, but never starting, or constantly seeking just one more course, one more certification before taking action. It can stop you from taking even that very first crucial step towards building your first asset.
Okay, so fear is one side. But then he mentions greed. For entrepreneurs, that often shows up differently, doesn't it? It can lead to burnout, ironically, rather than actual wealth.
Yes, absolutely. Greed in the entrepreneurial context can be really insidious. It doesn't always look like Scrooge McDuck. It can lead people to chase every shiny object, every viral trend, every get-rich-quick promise, just hoping for that immediate windfall.
Right, jumping from one thing to the next.
Exactly. This often results in overworking themselves to total exhaustion, constantly launching new half-baked products without optimizing the ones they already have, taking on way too many client projects just for the cash flow, trying to do everything at once. It's all driven by that desire for immediate substantial income, but it leads to this frantic, unsustainable pace.
Which is ultimately counterproductive to building true wealth through leverage.
Completely. It's the opposite of building assets that work for you. It's just you working harder and harder for the money, constantly on the brink of burnout, never actually building true freedom. It's like trading one form of the time for money trap for another, arguably worse, self-imposed one.
So the antidote then is trusting your strategy over those emotions. Having that long-term vision. It sounds like it requires a disciplined, strategic approach.
Precisely. It's about having a clear, well-thought-out plan for building assets, understanding that compounding takes time, and then having the discipline to stick to it even when fear whispers doubts in your ear or greed tempts you with shortcuts that look appealing in the short term.
And the digital world offers a unique advantage here, doesn't it?
It really does. The digital entrepreneurship landscape, especially now with AI and easily accessible automated systems, offers a unique, unprecedented advantage. You can often bypass the traditional gatekeepers. You can skip permission, as Seth Godin might say.
Meaning you don't need a huge bank loan to start.
Right. You don't need a massive loan to start an e-commerce store selling digital products. You don't need a traditional publishing deal to write and sell an ebook. You can start small. Test your ideas with minimal risk. Iterate based on real market feedback. Build momentum without needing anyone's formal approval or a huge pile of upfront cash. It really democratizes wealth creation in a way that wasn't possible before.
This means that digital entrepreneurship uniquely rewards those who just act before they feel 100% qualified. You don't necessarily need a degree in digital marketing to start creating Canva templates, for example.
Not at all. You just need to start and learn as you go. Your qualification is literally built through the action.
And that's the beauty, the true power of this whole model, isn't it? The qualification comes through the action itself.
You learn by doing, you refine your skills, you accumulate experience as you build. This is such a fundamental departure from the traditional mindset that demands all the credentials and certifications before you're even allowed to try.
And ultimately, the most successful, the wealthiest online entrepreneurs, they aren't necessarily working harder, are they?
Not usually, no. They've simply mastered the art of stopping that direct trade of time for money. They've built the systems, the assets that generate income more independently, allowing their minds to focus on strategy and growth and their lives to be lived more on their own terms.
That's a truly liberating thought, and it connects so perfectly with the whole ethos of building a faceless brand. It's about the systems, the strategy, not constantly having to be on personally. So, okay, let's get practical. How do we translate all this mindset stuff, all this theory, into concrete, actionable steps for our digital creators and entrepreneurs listening right now? This isn't just about hustle, we keep saying. It's about strategic leverage.
Right. Let's get intensely practical. Actionable steps you can take, like today or this week. First step, and maybe the most important one, to just get moving. Commit to building one digital asset this month.
Just one.
Just one to start. Don't overwhelm yourself immediately with some grand vision of a massive flagship course or a super complex automated funnel right out of the gate. Pick something manageable. An MVP, a minimum viable product.
Like what? What's a manageable first asset?
Could be a simple guide. A high-value template pack, maybe 3 or 5 templates. A mini course, like 3 short videos. Even a detailed checklist that solves one specific nagging problem for your audience. The goal isn't perfection, it's completion. Getting that first asset created and out into the world.
So it's a tangible step, shifting from just being a content creator to actually being an asset builder.
Exactly. It might be just a 2-page PDF checklist for optimizing Instagram bios, or a simple Notion template for planning content, maybe a short Loom video tutorial demonstrating a specific AI prompt you use. The point is to create something, anything, that can be sold or used repeatedly without your continuous manual input for each person who gets it. It's about planting that first seed of leverage.
Okay, build one asset this month. Got it. And once you've started building, what's next? For someone who's serious about making their efforts really count.
Step 2. Start rigorously tracking what actually converts versus what's just content consumption or vanity metrics. You need to become an investigator in your own business, a data detective.
Looking beyond likes and views.
Way beyond. Use your analytics, whether it's Google Analytics on your website, your email platform stats, specific sales dashboards from Gumroad or wherever you sell. See which specific posts actually lead to sales, which emails get clicks on your product links, which traffic sources are generating income, not just traffic.
So track conversions.
You track conversions relentlessly. Email signups for your lead magnet, product page visits that turn into actual purchases, affiliate click-through rates that result in confirmed sales. This helps you understand where your true income-generating efforts lie. And crucially, it allows you to double down on what works and, just as importantly, stop wasting time on activities that don't actually contribute to your bottom line.
Data becomes your roadmap, identifying your real assets and maybe exposing your hidden liabilities.
Couldn't have said it better. Data is your roadmap.
That's so important because it's so easy to feel incredibly busy when you're not tracking the right things. You might be investing 80% of your time in activities that only bring in 10% of your revenue.
Exactly right. It's all about working smarter, using data, not just harder. Which leads to step 3. Strategically invest in knowledge, but be smart about it.
Okay, what do you mean by strategically? Because this isn't about just buying every course or tool out there, right? We already said that can become a liability.
Exactly. This isn't about hoarding courses or falling for shiny object syndrome again. It's about making strategic investments in your financial education as a digital entrepreneur. The kind of investments that directly contribute to building or scaling your assets.
So more targeted learning.
Yes, this means maybe buying a very specific targeted course that teaches you precisely how to build a high-converting sales funnel for your type of product. Or perhaps hiring a mentor or joining a mastermind group where people have already achieved what you want to achieve and can provide tailored guidance. Or investing in AI tools that genuinely automate a significant, repetitive, time-consuming part of your business, not just provide a neat little novelty.
Frame them as investments in asset building.
Yes. Frame these as investments in your ability to build and scale assets, rather than just acquiring more stuff, more software that sits idle. Choose wisely. Focus on tangible skills and tools that directly help you build, optimize, or market a leveraged asset more effectively.
Okay, strategic investment in knowledge. And finally, what's the last practical step?
A mindset shift we touched on earlier, but it bears repeating as a practical daily step. Consciously think long-term over chasing quick wins. This is about cultivating patience and strategic foresight in everything you do.
Resisting the quick dopamine hit of a viral reel that doesn't lead anywhere.
Exactly. True digital wealth, the kind that provides genuine freedom and stability, it compounds over time. Through consistent strategic asset building, not through chasing fleeting trends or relying on unpredictable viral moments. It's about building a solid, resilient foundation, brick by digital brick.
It might take longer initially.
It might take longer to see that initial exponential growth compared to, say, a lucky viral video, but the growth you achieve this way will be far more stable, predictable, and ultimately sustainable. Resist the urge for instant gratification. Resist the siren call of the next hack or shortcut. Instead, focus on creating those evergreen assets that will continue to pay you, continue to work for you for months and years to come.
It's that strategic, patient approach combined with disciplined action.
That's what differentiates the successful long-term digital entrepreneurs from those who burn out quickly, perpetually chasing the next short-term high without building anything lasting.
Okay, so to summarize the ethos of this entire segment, and really this whole deep dive, this isn't about hustle, it's about leverage. Let your work compound.
That is the core message, absolutely. It's about working smarter, not just harder, by building assets that have an independent life and their own income-generating capability, allowing your time, your energy, your focus to be truly freed up for what matters most.
Wow, okay. This deep dive has truly, I think, reframed Rich Dad Poor Dad through such a powerful modern lens. The central theme, it just remains crystal clear, doesn't it? Building assets, particularly digital ones that leverage automation and AI, is the undeniable path to freedom, to truly leveraged income.
Yeah, it's not about simply adding more effort, more hours onto your already full plate. It's about fundamentally shifting the kind of effort you put in, focusing on creation that compounds over time.
Absolutely. So we really encourage you, our listener, to actively apply the lessons from this deep dive to your own digital brand, your current efforts. Maybe take a moment right after this finishes to personally reevaluate what you're doing day to day.
Yeah, ask yourself honestly, are you primarily building assets right now? Or are you maybe just staying busy on that content hamster wheel, unknowingly accumulating liabilities instead? Is the content you're creating serving a larger system, or is it just content for content's sake?
And hey, if you haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad in a while, or maybe you never have, now might be the perfect time to pick it up again. But this time, read it specifically through this unique lens, the lens of a modern digital entrepreneur, maybe even a faceless one.
You might be amazed at how relevant, how insightful, and how profoundly practical its core lessons still feel. Perhaps even more so today with all the digital tools we have than when it was first published.
Definitely. Now, if this discussion resonated with you and you feel ready to take some concrete steps, maybe you want some help building that first digital asset or figuring out how to monetize your faceless brand with smart strategies that actually lead to leverage, not burnout.
We have resources specifically designed to help you with that.
You can head over to lessSpaceMoreSpace.com. That's our website where you'll find a wealth of information, guides, maybe even courses, depending on when you're listening.
Or, if you prefer, just slide into our DMs on Instagram. Send us the single word INFO, just INFO, and we'll send you back a free guide to help you monetize smarter and start building those assets that can truly grow while you rest.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that deep dive. Really insightful.
My pleasure. It's such an important topic. Until next time, keep building those assets that work for you.
And keep diving deep into what truly matters for your financial freedom. Thanks for listening.